Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to be starting a fall autumn style journal. I'll be using Calico Collage's digital kit named Autumn Ride. This kit is adorable. It has bicycles and butterflies and florals. It's just a really pretty, beautiful autumn digital kit. Digital. So I'm going to make a 2 signature journal, and I'm going to use this chipboard for my covers. It will end up having a 1-inch spine, and the journal itself, let me measure. Maybe I'll measure. It's approximately 5.5 by 8.5, or 5.25 by 8.5. Pretty much, as you see right there, I'm using the whole book page with just a little bit, about a 1/4 inch over for my cover. So here I have my 1-inch spine and my front cover and my back cover. And this chipboard is pretty thick, so I had to flip it over and cut it both ways, or I could have taken out an X-Acto knife and finished the cutting that way. Okay, so now I have to decide what I want to do for my cover. I looked at some papers off camera, and then I finally decided on this fabric. Right now you're looking at the wrong side, or the backward side, but it's a really pretty gold leaf pattern with some silver thread throughout. It's really pretty, and I've had it in my stash for a long time, and now is the time to use at least part of it. So I'm going to kind of place to make sure I have enough fabric, and then I'm going to add some of my 3-in-1 similar to Fabri-Tac. And I was looking for something to spread it around to kind of get all the globs so that it goes evenly. And I found in my stash this sponge brush that had dried glue on it, so it wasn't the best. So I ended up throwing it away after this project, but it kind of helped spread it around a little bit at least. And then I'm going to do the same for the spine, and then also the other cover. Sorry. See, so I'm trying to use the squishy part of the sponge. Alright, so here I'm using 2 pieces of chipboard kind of as my spacer. And I recently watched a mini album video that Paige Evans made. And I guess when she was in college, she took a book making course. And they said to use 2 thicknesses of the cover for your space. So I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that. I honestly just kind of eyeball and say, all right, that looks like it will bend. But I thought that was interesting, so for this book I gave it a try. And it definitely makes the book covers more flexible and able to open and close. So I thought that was good information. And so now I'm checking to make sure I have enough fabric on all 4 corners, so when I fold it over and glue it, it will stay. And then I'm going to add some glue and then fold down that top flap. And then I'm going to do the same thing on all 4 sides. And then I have, in just a second here, I have another tip from that video I watched. And kind of my aha moment. I'm like, what? I had no idea. I'm sure it's something you all have been doing, but I had never seen it before. So then I flip my bottom flap up and make sure that it's stuck. And here it is. So now I have those pieces that are pinched, and look, you pinch them together and then you cut, and it pretty much makes a nice little mitered corner. Now, I got a little nervous when doing this, so there's a few corners that I didn't cut as close as I should have, but if I would have, it would have been like a square, perfect corner. And again, I saw that in that same video. I'll have that video linked below if you want to check it out. Paige had some really, really good bookmaking tips in there, even though it was for a mini album. And the mini album turns out super cute. Alright, so now I'm going to add some reinforcement to my spine, and I'm using just a piece of the scrap fabric, and I'm going to glue that in the middle of my spine. Alright, so I go ahead and add that. Cut off the extra fabric. And then I decided on this paper as my inside cover paper. I really like the butterflies and the leaves in the bottom corner. And then I'm going to mark where I want to cut the paper, including just a little bit to have it tucked in a little bit. And then I take it to my paper cutter and just cut that off. And then I have a great inside cover. And then I'm going to glue this on. See, here's where I'm like, oh man, I should have cut a little bit closer. But I kind of play with it and then it works out. I just love the butterflies. That's really pretty paper. So then I decide I'm going to take my bone folder and mark where my spine is. This is something that I don't usually do, but I did. I'm going to add some glue to my inside cover, and I do this in sections just to make sure that the first part's glued down, and then the middle, and then the other side. And again, I'm going to spread it out, the glue, to get rid of some of the bubbles and some of the big globs. I gave up on my sponge brush, just using a piece of the chipboard. And then I smooth that out, use my bone folder, make sure it's nice and stuck on there. And then I do the rest, the spine and the right side. Make sure it's nice and stuck down. Spread it out. And here I'm just making sure everything is nice and stuck down. And there we go. Pretty much that is the base of my cover. Not so bad. Alright, after fiddling with that for a while, I decided to go and trim up my papers. So here I'm just cutting off the border that doesn't have anything printed on it. And I'm going to go through and do all of my pages all the kit pages to add to my journal. And here are the pages, plus I added some scrapbook paper and some coffee dyed paper and I think a composition notebook page. Pretty much it's the kit with a few extra pages. And what I like to do is kind of go through the pages and kind of get an idea of where I'll have everything go in the journal. Alright, so I kind of fuss and fiddle a little bit with the pages. And there's that scrapbook paper. And then there's another piece of scrapbook paper. And it always, inevitably, oh, and see there, I check to make sure the page is not upside down. It always changes. No matter how many times I kind of get organized, this isn't the end result. But it's a start, and just to kind of make sure I like how things are looking, and if the pages are too big, that kind of thing. And then I check to make sure everything looks good in the cover. And it looks good. And then come back for part 2. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.